Hello and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and I'm very glad you're joining us again today. We are on location in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and we are at Tom Bird's 8-day writing retreat, which is at this incredible place. And Tom Bird, who is our guest today, is conducting this fabulous gathering of some 32 or 33 people sitting in a room for many, many hours a day, writing from their heart, writing from their soul, speaking truths that they had not let even themselves know in many cases for many years, if ever. And Tom is an inspirational teacher, and we're very glad to have him on. At the end of today's show, you'll see some of the people who are here speaking about what it feels like to be writing their book and to have the breakthroughs that they're having in completing the book. And, well, you'll see. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Mitchell. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a pleasure. What an atmosphere you have created here.
Thank you.
In this retreat, exactly.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure for me just to be part of this. You know, to convey to your audience what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's rather a monumental thing. I've been working with new authors, and I've been an author myself.
You've been doing this for that long, huh?
I've been working with new authors for 26 years, and I did so because I tried all the conventional methods to get published and to write a book, and nothing was seeming to work. So I asked for some divine guidance. Hope that doesn't sound too corny, but I did.
No, our people love it.
I woke up in the middle of the night with this vision of how to not only write a book and get it published, put that into play, finished my first book in no time at all, and sold it 6 weeks later. And I felt the desire. Actually, there's a little bit of that story left out. I was really desperate. When I asked for divine guidance, I really
It was because you were desperate.
Man, I really feel desperation as a forefather to face, to be real honest with you. That's been
it's
my
like
experience.
Necessity being the mother of invention.
Absolutely. You know, and I feel I always have a really good connection with Mother, Father, God. But this one time I realized I've been going to the wrong sources to get the answers. And this one night I was really at my wit's end. And I just got down on my knees and said, you know, I've been wanting to be a writer my whole life. This is all I want to do. The desire won't go away. I don't feel qualified at times. I don't feel intelligent at times. I don't feel creative at times. I don't feel educated enough at times.
Or maybe worthy.
Definitely not worthy as a result of all those. But I said, I think this is what I was meant to do, and I tried every source I could find to accomplish the task. It's not working, and I made a mistake, and I should have come to you first. But either way, I'm coming to you now. And I was very sincere, and I had tears in my eyes, and I really felt it, and I let it go. 2 nights later, I woke up in the middle of the night. Again, I had this vision I was talking about. I'd run out of alternative methods to get published and write my book, you know, conventional methods. And so I just put into play what I saw, and 6 weeks later, my first book sold, the 3rd largest publisher in the world. And I tripled my income, and I became a full-time writer overnight.
Incredible story.
And I thought, well, you know, this really worked for me. And up to that time, I didn't know any other writers except for professional ones. And I didn't know anybody that really wanted to write, because it's such a closet industry, because it takes so much of your soul to write.
Sure.
You feel vulnerable when you expose that.
You're in solitude. You're away from the world. You're concentrating, you know. You're removed.
You do part of that so you can hear, but you do a big part of that, too, because you feel vulnerable, because when you write, so much of yourself comes out that you don't want to be burying yourself in public. You know?
Exactly.
So you need it to hear, but you also need it for safety.
One of the points that I feel like you've been making here, and one of the things I've been witnessing both in myself and in others, is the real healing process. That writing, on the one hand, is a broadcasting of information, knowledge, understanding, wisdom to the outside world, but really first it's a broadcast to ourselves. And I feel like you really help to show that in what you're leading us through, but also the group itself expresses that in the process we're going through.
That's something I never expected to ever be a part of. Again, I didn't feel worthy for it to be seen as what I instruct as a part of healing. But the truth of the matter is it's very simple why people need healing. You know, we're all born with a divine essence and a divine confidence, a divine love, a divine purpose. As life gets in the way, sometimes we lose it.
And a divine conflict.
Yes, exactly. And you have to come. The people that come in my retreats have to work back through all that stuff
Yeah.
to get to who they really were initially when they landed here.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where the
Exactly.
healing comes in. And that's not something I ever anticipated. I feel so blessed to be a part of that.
Oh.
I feel so fortunate. And
It's very humbling, Tom. I'm seeing it in you. I see it in myself, and bearing witness to what's going on in myself and in others. You know, it's like
people go through what would commonly be referred to as, Mitchell, as a rebirthing.
yeah,
And the commonality amongst all of them, there's a few commonalities. Number one, they want to write. That's why they get together. Number two, they need to write. That's why they get together.
Yep.
Number three, their lives have been askewed. You know, they're just a little bit off balance. They're good people, hardworking people, but there's something missing and they know it.
yeah,
And what they're missing is that divine connection, and they couple that together with a longing for the need to write. And when they need to write, they get the divine connection. And it heals their lives. It heals every aspect of their
very
lives.
true. I mean, what I think you're helping to supply is that very key element, Tom, of self-expression in a holistic perspective of healing.
You're so much
You know.
better with spoken words than I am. To tell you the truth,
No.
to tell you the truth, here's my perspective. on
Go
that.
ahead.
My blue
Give
collar,
it to us.
you know, grown up poor perspective. Hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. That's how I feel it. You know, and I think
I love the accent, the Pittsburgh accent.
if I can do it, you can do it too. And that's really what I feel.
Sure.
I feel that
What?
we all, certain amounts of, certain portion of the Constitutions is really evident in us, that we are created equal. Now, you may have certain talents in one area and I others, but, you know, we all are given the same bag of gifts.
Oh yeah.
And my
yeah.
feeling is really, if I can do it, others can do it. And I initially started teaching out of responsibility. You know, when I was down on my knees that night, I said, if you show me how to do it, I'll show other people how to do it. And you got to watch what you pray for. You know, I got it and said, oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
great, but I've got
Great.
this responsibility. So
Exactly.
I created a venue for myself to teach. And I was teaching at colleges and universities, and I
Mhm.
was really kind of surprised that,
You were teaching writing.
yeah, my method, you know.
Your method, right?
The method I
The
use.
Tom Boyd method.
Tom Boyd's method. So I was teaching it, and to be honest with you, people were getting so much out of the classes. Not only were they getting their books written, and were they getting published, but they were going through these spiritual healings that I did not anticipate.
Amazing.
And it was kind of
Amazing.
odd that I didn't anticipate
Yeah.
that, because I went through the same type of healing. So after a few years of teaching, I was kind of confused by my results, because they were so much more outstanding than I anticipated. So I asked a few students, I'd be really
What a wonderful thing, you know.
I'd be really appreciative if you could tell me what I do, because I'm seeing the results, but I'm really not sure how I'm getting there. And I'm really just talking about publishing and writing. And one of my students one time came up to me and said, Tom, what you are is you're a literary midwife. And I thought, wow, yeah, that's true. I know how to birth books. That's what
Yep.
I do. I knew how to birth books. And I feel that I'm a
I think you're birthing writers is what you're doing. You know?
Yes. And really the book is just the byproduct.
Yeah.
And if they write one book or a million books, they birth themselves.
Exactly.
And when I birth a writer, when I participate in the birthing of a writer, I really feel I'm helping to rebirth a person. They're rebirthing themselves with the knowledge of what's valuable in life that they lost before.
Yeah.
But they're getting back what they lost, and so it's so much more important now to them than it was previously, because they appreciate what it's like to be without it, you know?
Exactly.
And so they don't ever want to lose it again.
Exactly.
And I really wish I could say all my students showed up on my doorstep because they were in faith and were ready. They're scared, they're
Sure.
anxious, they're desperate, and they're ready because they're missing something. They think it's going to come as a result of the book. They have something to say, even though they don't feel worthy. And they know it's time because their books wake them up in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Their books come to them when they're on long drives in the car. People are continually telling them, man, you should write a book. You know, you're a really good writer. The Christmas card you sent me really touched me.
Yes, exactly. There's an authenticity that others respond to in them that gets communicated in writing.
Absolutely.
And you are helping to, yes, midwife it, to bring it out.
And it goes beyond words. What
yeah,
they experience
definitely.
with their writing goes beyond words, and they can feel it. And when that healing energy comes through them, they feel the divine, unconditional love that they've experienced intermittently through their lives. They feel it in full stream, and it cleanses them, and it heals them.
Definitely.
And when a group of people like this goes through this experience, it's so unique and so special, and they bond together